my goodness, the camera. Oh my goodness, hello everybody. Can you say hello to Champ? I just walked in the door and he's going crazy because, I was gone forever because I was teaching the yoga. Yeah, I was teaching the yoga. And I'm home and he wants his hello mommy time. Hello, welcome in everybody. Welcome to our Instagram live on body shaming. Champ wants to make an appearance. I see Marissa is here. He just needs my lovies because I just ran in the door from yoga and he thinks I was gone all day long. All day, okay? All day. Let me get Marissa in here. I know. God forbid I leave the house. I'm a prisoner in my own home. Hi, love.
Hi. Oh my gosh, she's so
I'm a
cute.
prisoner in my own home. I left the house and taught yoga, and he's like, "You're home. You left me." Yes. So he needed some lovies. I'm like, I gotta get on the
Oh my
phone.
God, loves just scratches. That's so adorable.
You want to show everybody your face because you always got a cute face. Drop it.
Oh, how long have you been gone? You just like, I just want to
Yeah,
love you.
yeah. On like an hour and a half.
Yes,
That's
that's
like
enough.
too long. So, right? Okay, then go sit over there now. Stop it. Go. Good. Bye. All right. How was your day?
It was good. It was good.
Welcoming in all the beautiful souls into.
Hi.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome. We are going to talk about body shaming again. Of course, we are hitting all different aspects of it. So we have live on Monday. We had a live on Tuesday. You have 3 journal questions in each live. Go back to watch them and do your journal work, especially if you're not able to come to the workshop, which is this Saturday on March 2nd at 11:30 in the morning at Brassy Buddha Yoga Studio in downtown Westfield. Parking is not free at that time. I apologize. Normally it's always free for my class on Thursday nights, but I promise you that it's worth it. And if you're like me, you can park 3 blocks away and get some good exercise and park for free and walk in. So that's what I do when I go to the studio or anytime or 7 o'clock when it's free. So when it's not free. All right. So may you you can go ahead and introduce yourself and give yourself the best introduction ever.
Oh my God, I'm the worst at that for myself. Hi. My name is Marissa. I'm actually co-owner of Dulce de Loa. I surprisingly started this with my mom, which is really shocking because if you would have told me a few years ago I'd be doing something like this with her, probably would have laughed at you.
We'll unpack that another time.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're a home-based bakery right out of Elmwood Park. Right now it's delivery only. And at the moment, we actually provide the Peruvian cookies for the Lomo truck right there in Garfield, Woodland Park, and all of those. So you could try those out. And basically, our reason for starting this was everyone has always told us that our baking is just amazing, and we always just sat there like, yeah. It's her recipes, so I
Okay.
just follow her, and we just want you to try one of our sweets and just have like a memory of home, something like grandma just took this right out of the oven and just made you dessert right after dinner, like just that feeling of home.
Right.
So
Having that
but I
and envisioning that feeling, no matter who you are, somebody always had a grandma that baked at least one dessert that was the thing. And you, you know, lose your grandma like I did and during COVID,
I'm
you
sorry.
miss the, like you don't have that anymore, that feeling, that energy, that grandma.
Yeah.
So I love in my heart so much that
Sadly, I never had a grandmother who did that. It was my mom.
mm-hmm.
But I had other people's grandmothers who
Yeah. And
made me feel that.
that's the thing. We also have, when we don't actually have something ourselves, there are other people who show up in our life in that energy for us.
Yeah.
So that's something that you put together, but don't 100%. Like if you always had that one friend of your mom's or your dad's that you love, like, you know, you realize why,
Yep.
you know. But so our topic tonight is body shaming. And when we spoke and you told me about what you're about to tell everybody else, and I teased and I said, may not be alcohol involved. That does not mean we are sitting here drinking. But if you're home and you want to have a drinky drink or your wine while you're listening to us, go right ahead. It's okay.
Enjoy.
Do what you do. But it is more about what Marissa's going to tell you about how she felt about her body, what she did with alcohol and food, and how it affected her during a certain time of her life. So I do always want to ask the one question, which is our root to why we began body shaming. Was it a cultural thing or someone specifically in your family who, or when you went to elementary school, who was your first memory you could recall of being told something negative about your body that then it stuck with you and you carried that with you through life?
It was one day I went to cheerleading practice and I had to try on those crop tops that go on the stupid
The shells.
turtleneck things. Yeah. To go underneath our shell.
Oh, okay.
And this is like when they were like the new thing and they had the elastic right here. And I was always a top heavy person. I just never actually thought anything of it. But one day my mom, like I put it on, I'm like, yeah, this is all right. Mind you, my chichos, they were popping out. Like, okay. I had love handles, still do, but it is a way. It's okay. And
No,
just the look, the
now
look.
make you blush.
I love you. The look on her face, and it was like a disgust in her. And I love my mom now, but at that point, it's just the look on her face. It was just she's like, take that off. That's too small. It doesn't fit you right. It's not nice.
Right.
And it was the way. It's not even like I knew that she was coming from a good. Well, I didn't know at that point that she was coming from a good place. Like now I get it, but at that point, it was more of like her delivery on it. And then I had one older brother who, after that, it was fat girl this, fat girl that, fat girl this, fat girl that. And again, he was probably just being an older brother picking on me. But at that point, I really was heavier.
Yeah.
So it stuck with me forever. And I tried to not let it bother me, but subconsciously it would always just be,
Yeah.
I'm square.
Yes.
I would sit there and be like, I'm SpongeBob. Like, this is not cool.
Yeah. I think we mentioned it with Crystal, and I said, we may have different relationships with these people now. It doesn't, we're not allowed to feel the hurt and the pain and address it from who we were then, because we can do that work and we don't have to communicate that with them now.
Right.
We do the work, we can sit and like yell at them and write a letter that's like, you hurt me and you said this and I felt this and all of the things. Even you have a better relationship now. And that's the one thing that I feel, and what I notice and observe as a life and business coach, that people don't want to do the work, some of that work where the trauma came from the family, because they think it's going to destroy the relationship that they have now.
Yeah.
And depending on if you have a relationship where it's just for appeasement and you're actually still taking yourself to a place where it doesn't feel safe and it still feels like you're the joke and you're the one still getting shitted on, in other words, that's a different story. But if it has been a growth and improved relationship, you can do the work and it doesn't affect the relationship now. It's two different things. It's like thinking of yourself, that version of you, that younger version of you is a different person, which it is, than who you are now. And same thing with them. That's a younger version of them that's different from who they are now, right?
Exactly.
So there's still a little bit there to unpack for you so that you can fully release that,
Hmm.
and have the freedom in your body and in your power center, your confidence, your value, your worth, because that can't be 100% if you're still having this remembrance. My brother always called me fat. My brother always called and when you look at yourself in the mirror, you have thoughts that resonate with that, you know? Yeah. And so that means that little work for the root of it requires attention and to be looked at and to sit in and to breathe through, write out,
Yeah.
yell out,
Yeah.
work out, poses with the breath, any of it so that it can fully come up and out. Because the thing is that version of you must say what she needs to say. And if her words are, I fucking hate you for calling me fat all the time, then it's got to be that. And you have to allow her to let that up and out, right?
Yeah.
So that she feels seen and heard and starts to feel safe. And as soon as
Like that.
that happens, as soon as you actually allow her to fully express, that's when you'll start feeling the shift in your body. And when you'll look in the mirror and you won't replay the thoughts of, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm fat. I remember my brother calling me fat all the time. I remember my mother telling me I shouldn't wear this cheerleading outfit, because my love handles are sticking out, like those things. So that's your homework.
Yeah.
I don't give homework. So let's go back to then the area of life when we'll call it the party phase. We've all had it.
Yeah.
And what you were doing, because when you told me this, I was like, wow, that's powerful to express, you know? And I've heard it before from some other people. I didn't do it because, one, you see the size, I never neglected myself food, but I know of people and I observe people doing what you told me, and I thought it was very powerful to speak on. So,
Yeah. So I had a lot of trauma when I was like around 15 was probably when it really hit me the most.
mm,
And my life just crumbled. Life that I knew crumbled right in front of me. Like everything else around me, it still could have went on beautifully, but it just crumbled right in front of me. And drinking became my
mm-hmm.
go-to. I was 15 years old. What the hell did I need to be out drinking Grey Goose for? Who the hell knew? But between 15 to damn, I can't even lie, till 26, I drinking was my release. Drinking was the go-to for me to
To
get
numb.
all, yeah, to numb it. Exactly, to numb. And obviously, until COVID happened, after I'd be done drinking, we'd be finished by like 2. And then, well, as I got older, this is when the diner started to kick in. So maybe like 17. Um, but it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. You'd be like, all right, let's go to the diner. And then
Mm-hmm.
I would just sit there, never failed.
Jersey diners that used to be open 24 hours and we used to all jump
Yeah.
out.
So
I just
depressing.
gotta shout that out because we don't have that anymore in
No,
life.
it's horrible. Um, but yeah, so and my diner was the Saddlebrook Diner. Like that was my go-to. No matter where I was coming from, it could be the city, it could be Newark, Ironbound, it didn't matter. Saddlebrook Diner was my go-to, and it was triple decker turkey club with a side of extra pickles, extra mayo, extra coleslaw, sweet
Woo!
potato fries,
Oh, I love
and a virgin pina colada.
a virgin after you had all of that alcohol, huh?
Yeah, I don't like alcohol in my pina coladas, so it had to be virgin. That's my dessert. And then I would probably go home and eat something that was in my refrigerator because my mom came from an Italian family, so there was always something good in the fridge.
Always.
So between the drinking and then the late night eating, but then the in between eating of McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, all of that, I didn't realize how much my body was just holding on to all of that. Like between the trauma and the food and the alcohol, it was just.
Mm.
And then it was like right before I met my son's father, during our relationship, I just felt so big and just uncomfortable and just.
I was just gonna ask, do you remember exactly when you would look at yourself, see a picture, or look in a mirror, how you felt?
I saw a picture.
Mm.
I saw a picture and I was hunched. And mind you, I thought I still was okay. I was like, oh, I'm a little chunky, but no big deal.
Mm.
No, no, this was bad. Like I saw a picture from a friend's birthday and we were out and I had a strapless shirt on and just the way this area and I have broad shoulders, I know I do, and I'm okay with that. But just the way this looked and just I had a muffin top on my chest. Like it just didn't look right. And I was like, who is that?
Mm.
I and even till this day I've shown people that picture and they will be like, who the fuck is
They don't recognize
that?
you.
No,
Do you
not at
remember
all.
words that would come to your mind when you would look at yourself or you looked at that picture?
Holy shit. Like yeah, I would just be like, holy shit.
What else?
That what the hell's wrong with you? Like how did I get to that?
What did you call yourself?
I don't even remember,
Take a
honestly. I
breath.
I was just disgusted. I was very, very just disgusted.
Take a breath. You don't have to think about it. You just breathe and settle in. You allow her to come up because she knows. She knows what you said. And when you keep talking, what you're doing is you're avoiding
What
letting
I
her
want
speak.
to call myself
Okay?
a fat piece of shit, honestly.
I know.
I did. And then I looked at another picture and I was hunched over and like just and that was it. I can't even say I really did much to change, but somehow I moved to Long Island and for a year I would say I probably didn't drink as much.
So
But then
you stop drinking, which is calories.
yeah, it was more social, but not as much. So for a year I was all right. And somehow I just dropped like 50 pounds. Like
Were
just
you depriving the food or were
no,
you no?
no, I was still eating it. It was just I thought maybe it was just different because I wasn't home and I was far away. And at this point I probably never find out why I lost it that
Mm-hmm.
fast. Um, but then I was got pregnant with my son, so I moved back home and they put me on thyroid medication. So I'm starting to think maybe that had a reason to do with it. Maybe there was something wrong with my thyroid. But after that, it was, bad relationship after bad relationship. And then that eating just because I'd be sitting in my bed and depressed, like, oh, I'm a single mom. How did I get here? This isn't what I wanted. And then I'd just be eating ice cream. And then I'd be sitting
Oh,
there and
I said that the other. Yeah,
yeah. And then I would sit there too
by yourself when the kids asleep
and be like,
with the.
I'm going to make myself another drink. And
Mm.
then I would drink and then eat and then drink and it was just the constant back and forth.
What do you know? What the emotion was while you were on that couch at night when your kids asleep in the other room? Was it loneliness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was loneliness. It was disappointment. I was depressed. I really was. I overcame depression at one point and I just kept telling myself, I'm not depressed anymore. No, it's just this.
Mm.
And then even then I still didn't want to accept it for what it was. So again, I would just try to numb it. And
Right.
yeah, didn't work.
I know. We don't realize that moment. It doesn't
No.
work. We later on, it doesn't work. That's not how you do it. That's that phrase of if I only knew then what I know now.
Yeah. Because then I would go to put something on and I'm like, oh, I can't fit in this. It's so disgusting. Why am I wearing this? Why am I trying to do this? Why? So, I got used to just Leggings and sweatpants, because those are the easiest things to wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever, um, well, after that, so did you, when you were like, okay, I'm gonna make the change, did you stop drinking completely?
No, actually, I probably can tell you that I stopped drinking, not completely now. Now it's very social because I don't really go out. But I think over the last 2 years is when I finally just cut the drinking out. I'd go out and, obviously if I'm out to dinner with my friends, which is very rare too, I'll just have like a drink or two and that's it. But I won't get shit faced. It's not where I'm pounding it down. I don't have to come home, make myself a drink because like I'm content and happy and just realize that's not going to help
Mm,
and it's not helping my body. And if I continue to go down this route, then I'm not going to be here long term for my
yeah.
kids and I need to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a young mom and I love being a young mom.
Yeah.
How am I going to leave them so young?
Right.
So
Right. That's so,
maybe my body is not where I want it to be fully. And that's also a big part of I love to eat.
yeah.
And
No.
there's nothing that is going to stop that. I've done the meal planning, the eating as if I'm training for a bikini competition. Like I've done all of that. And I realized even then I wasn't happy. I was so toned. There was one point for like 4 months where I was toned. Like I was like, oh, who is that? Like, wow. Did
So
it,
sweet.
but I wasn't happy.
No. And did you feel deprived? Like, were you like, I'm depriving myself of nourishment? And did you notice a change in your mood?
No, it all still felt the same. Like I just didn't, I was confused.
Okay.
I didn't know why I was like, I'm skinny now. Like I'm so, I don't have, the love handles finally went away. It's like, I don't have those. My back is beautiful. It's nice and sculpted, starting to get my V back. Like, wow,
Mm,
why am I not happy?
right.
And I just couldn't figure it out. Like it was just nothing was
In the
working.
mirror, when you had that body like that, so sculpted, did you have the same thoughts come up?
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
actually still nitpick myself. I would sit there and be like, ooh, but there's still something right there. What's that little flub? Ooh, what is that? Ooh, no, that's not supposed to be there. No. So maybe that's why, like, even then, I just
Mm,
still do that a little bit till this day. I won't lie, but not as bad. Not
yeah.
as bad.
I think that's so powerful with having a bigger body, having a body that you took time and put effort and energy into sculpting, and it had this look that I'm sure if we were to show a picture, people would be like, yeah, I look at a picture like that and I want that body too. And you usually have, what we say to ourselves is, if I had that body, then I would just feel so much better. And
Yeah, I thought so.
here you are saying, I had that body and I didn't feel so much better.
Yeah, yeah. And
Leanne says,
actually,
let me see. Leanne says, these are the conversations that need to be had more often in public. This is so important to normalize these uncomfortable ass combos. Shout out to you, Dee, for putting this out there. Thank you so much, Lee.
yeah, I'm over here sweating because this is really uncomfortable, but it's okay.
All do that. We're our own worst critics sometimes. We're our own worst critics all the time, Chechi. All the time. Okay. And yeah, so your heat right now is the energy leaving you. This is a shift doing this. And I'm so happy and I feel so honored that you chose to do this. And I
Of
know it's new,
course.
step out and put yourself out there. So I just feel so blessed. And you're letting it out. You are letting it go. I've said this, I think, on both the lives. I say it all the time. I've been saying it for 9 years when I've been training teams, that every time you tell your story, you heal yourself more and you help heal somebody else. And so you make shifts within your body. It's energy. Your energy, and things could change in your life
Like
like that.
that.
how quickly it changes because you make decisions and you're telling yourself something else and you automatically align that energy differently now. Yeah, all the time. We're our own worst critics all the time. And it really, we do, I think I said this with Leanne, we grew up seeing a lot of commercials for bulimia, for anorexia.
Right. Yeah, that was a big
It
thing.
was shoved down. It was like after school specials and the commercials and all that. I don't have regular TV. I haven't had it in years.
Good for you.
But there's now on streaming platforms, there's never any commercials about those things. And then the other thing is that I never resonated with those commercials because I didn't have either one of those, which those were the only two eating disorders that they tried to tell us that there were in life.
Yeah, because emotional eating wasn't a problem at that point.
Correct. Because it didn't fit the narrative of we want you to eat this food that we have poisoned out so that you sick, so that we give you medication, so that you keep using our insurance. That's the plan, right?
Yeah.
But again, I didn't know. I thought I was crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand why I was always the bigger one, right? Because I didn't know what it was. And then once I learned what it was, I would tell people all the time, I'm no different from the crackhead on the corner. And they're like, oh my God, no, 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 no. I'm no different than them. Yeah. You just don't shame me because you weren't programmed to shame me for using food for my addiction. And my addiction, and everything is addiction when you use something in placement to numb the pain from the trauma instead of facing and doing the trauma work. That is what addiction is. So you can have food, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, drama, dating.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those.
And I've used other ones at times. Like I went through, even though the food was my main one, right? But I
tried other things.
I interchanged and was like, yeah, like you do it. And the thing is that it's all just numbing. It's all just so you don't have to admit certain things to yourself. We're brought up to understand that the family circle is the family circle, and you can't go against that, and you can't say anything bad, and you can't tell anybody that they made you feel sad and that they hurt you, because then you're weak and you're pussy and you're get over it, and that makes you tough.
Stop
and
being so sensitive.
Yeah. And you're sensitive and you're crazy, like, and that's not the case. That's not the thing. Is that there was certain programming in certain generations that grew up in a certain way, and as you move through the generations, you start to see the shifting. And as the energy raises of the planet, the babies that come through with a different energy. And so that's why you have, even when you look at, now we're at generation alpha, when you look or know of anybody that has these little babies, when you're like, oh my God, they're so smart, oh my God, they have this, oh my God, that, right? It's because of the upgrading of the energy of the planet as a whole. It's from people who do trauma work and have healed more. And when they bring in the new spirit baby, the spirit baby is coming with some healed trauma, right? The trauma's healed. They're not carrying all of it. Now we carry generational trauma. So, and it goes back because the eggs are in the womb 2 generations before. So for women especially, it's a lot more difficult because of our eggs being already produced 2 generations prior, that we have those eggs that have trauma in them. Hence, we have tough periods, right? Our menstrual cycle when we're releasing them eggs. For men, it's so much different because their sperm keeps reproducing. So if they heal and they reproduce new fresh sperm, then they're reproducing less trauma in the baby compared to carries the generational trauma from the previous generations,
Makes
right?
a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a book besides the one that I have that says the body keeps the score. There's another one that's called It Doesn't Start With You. And it talks about the epigenetics of that, because some of that stuff that you're doing is you're shifting and you're clearing the trauma from the previous generations. It's not even yours from this lifetime. Brienne says, how about the guilt being told you have to eat because other people are starving? That's an early memory of mine. Yes. From the previous generations, because they grew up in the Depression area.
Mm-hmm.
They came from other countries that weren't as abundant as what America is. You're taught there are other people starving, so you need to eat all this food, you
Right.
know?
Kind of like
So,
my dad used to do that when I was a kid. My dad came from Peru and he was just like, you're not allowed to leave the table till you finish what's on your plate. And I'm like, but I'm full. Like,
and that was mine. Get up until you leave, until you eat everything. And I was, so the other piece of my eating came from, hashtag clean plate club, came from control.
yeah.
That was the one piece that I used control. I controlled it so that they couldn't control me, so that they couldn't hurt me. And it was my way of rebellion. So I was very picky, and I didn't eat certain things. And like, as my mom's a covert narcissist, and as mean as she was when I was really little, she did make some things differently, even though my dad, who's old school Sicilian, would be like, don't make her different. She needs to learn how to eat what's on her plate, you know? And and so I use the food. I sat at the table chewing the same piece of steak for 45 minutes one night because it was a game of patience and who was going to outwin who.
Who's
And
gonna crack first?
yep. And I knew that food, what or subconsciously, I knew that food, I had the control, that I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what I was going to do. And of course they give up. That's what all like parents have other things to do, right? Like they're not going to do it anymore. And then they go, fine, go, go, go. And they fade away
They got
and
sick of it.
yeah. And it was a lie. I actually didn't heal the root of my eating until last year. And I realized that the root of my eating came from the male approval, which my dad just wasn't emotionally available. He didn't connect emotionally. He used money for love, like, oh, here, I'll take you shopping, okay, like, oh, I'll buy you this, so that, he didn't want to connect and talk and
He
engage
was the piggy bank.
in deep conversations,
Yeah.
and there was no good job, oh, if you got the A's, you got to get the A's on the report card, and then you got or, we were put to perform in front of people. He didn't want to fully teach us Italian, Sicilian, because, you won't be able to talk to everybody, the dialect, they don't understand it. But I'll teach you how to count, and I'll teach you how to say a couple of choice phrases. And then because that was, to make him feel good in front of family and friends, like, oh, tell them, how do you count to 10? And, and then, oh, here, and then you're given the $5 and you're given the $10 and you're given, like, and that was that. And,
Yeah.
there was not a deeper emotional connection and so what I didn't realize is that in my work life, I was constantly overperforming, over showing, like, oh my God, I do it so well. Oh my God, I do this. Oh my God. And I was so unfulfilled. I was always in toxic work environments. And I didn't realize until my just last two employers that they both mirrored my dad. And certain aspects, characteristics of them, like the lack of trust, like the controlling, you know. And what I did was it was one day because I was so irritated, I was so frustrated, and I wrote a call, and I knew like he just had so many traits of my dad, and it just kept like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? Right? And I wrote the column of all the things that he was irritating me about. And the next column, I was like, okay, what is the mirror of this? Because everybody speaks in a mirror. Everybody, if they're projecting, that's definitely a mirror. And I was like, oh, he doesn't trust me. He made me like send him this email. He couldn't just believe what I said. He doesn't trust me. Well, he doesn't trust himself, not me. He doesn't trust himself.
Right.
And then what's my lesson? Well, my lesson is I need to definitely trust myself more. And I went through every character trait. And like I said, like that, then by the next day, I didn't have that anger towards him. I wasn't irritated. I looked at him differently.
Yeah.
I saw the wounded little boy who wasn't trusted, was controlled, right? Like all the things. And I saw that, and it didn't bother me.
That's
And
awesome.
the crazy thing is that I didn't eat. And it wasn't because I was starving myself, because I told you I've never starved myself ever. I don't even understand that concept, honestly.
Well, for some of us, we used to do it before we would go out, because if I knew that I had, because most of my friends all had like perfect little bodies. So I would sit there and be like, oh, well, if you guys want me to fit in a dress tonight, I'm not eating all day. So, and then I would drink, which did not help. And then eat all the food that I said later, or like later on. So yeah, it just caught up with me later on.
Which is abuse, which is body. You're abusing your body.
Yeah, I
You're making
never saw it like that.
right, but you're making it go through such drastic changes instead of like a flow and just listening to the body and you know, okay, yeah, I'm hungry right now. Let me have a little bit of this. Okay, then, you know, I'm not. And then I'm hungry right now. I'll have a little bit of that, you know? And yeah, the foundation does carry on in the adulthood. But so I wasn't eating, not because I was starving myself, because I didn't have the emotions that were banging at me. That was like, oh yeah, we eat this for this emotion, we eat that for.
Makes sense.
They were gone. That was the first time ever I understood what sobriety is. Because when I used to tell the story about being an addict, I would say, well, if I was smoking crack, I would be smoking crack every day, because I relapsed every day, because I was on the couch almost every night with a pint of ice cream, or it was a candy during the day, or it was a this, or it was eating the whole portion, or it was, you know. And so that was the first time I ever really understood and felt what people talk about what sobriety is, which is not being controlled by the addiction. And I didn't eat because evidently I was just only eating emotions. So when I wasn't having those emotions that were banging at me, I wasn't eating. And I for the whole first week, I had to tell myself to eat. Like, oh my God, we didn't eat. I have to eat. And so it was so weird and completely different than anything like I ever felt or experienced. And so, you know, since then it's been a year and like 3-4 months that I just worked through understanding this and working on building a new relationship with food, and having, again, I told you I was a picky eater, trying new foods. People laugh because I went to a nutritional workshop at the yoga studio I teach at, and one of the yoga teachers was talking about nutrition because she's a nutritional coach, and she brought blueberries for us to sample. Now, I love fruit, and I eat a lot of different fruit. I love fruit, but I didn't eat blueberries. And it wasn't
now
for any reason other than, yeah, I don't like them. And people would always, oh, do you try it? Do I have to try it? I don't remember if I ever really tried it. Maybe I did, and and she was telling us all the good things about blueberries, and she brought us the little sample, and I tasted one, and I was like, why didn't I never eat these? They're actually really good. And
Yeah.
since that day, which was in September, every time I buy my fruit, I include blueberries now. Since
Yes,
that
they're so good.
day. And so little baby steps that I've been doing to build back a relationship with food that's healthier, that I listen to my body and ask it what would like to eat, to be nourished, for energy,
That's the one.
taste good. I am a snob because I love everything fresh. That's maybe an Italian downfall. Like I can't
Yeah,
do, I
that's
can't
what that is.
I really don't like leftovers. There's only certain foods I don't make that it's okay if it's left over. Other like it has to be fresh, and I like fresh ingredients, and it's just certain things. So like I don't even buy meats and freeze them anymore. I only just go to the store, buy what I would need for maybe a few days, and then once that's over, I'll just go back to the food store and buy what I would need again. Like
Oh yeah, like a real Italian, like real
I
Italian.
yeah, like I don't feel the need to store it in the freezer, take it out, and then it's been, which I didn't grow up like that. Like I remember, like my mother went to the food store, and it was that whole process when you get home,
Oh
and
yeah, my mom too.
the Ziplocs and the this and the that. My grandmother used to take the straw in the Ziploc in the corner and suck it out. I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Sucking out all the air. Here, do one." And I'm like, "That's horrible. That tastes like shit. Like, are you?" It was, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Before you could get a food saver fucking vacuum thing.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
that was
Okay, it worked.
yeah, that's like, and so I'm going through this journey, and I'm experiencing different things, and I'm giving myself the chance to try new things and open up, and listening to my body and saying and observing it and saying, oh, you know what, we felt really good when we ate that. We were fulfilled,
Hmm.
like it, and noticing strength because I started back on my yoga practice again. And when I'm depriving myself of some protein, that I don't even have the strength, I'm falling out of poses more because I just don't have the strength to stay there. But I was like, just 3 days ago I had no problem, and I'm
Right.
like, I really haven't been eating protein. And it's not that I was eating bad things, I was just having like, I was actually honestly doing a lot of work, business work, and then moving and getting up and leaving. And so I would pour the green juice into the cup, and I would take it with the straw and go.
Yeah.
And part of gaining back the relationship with the body shaming is taking time. And I know you're going to be like, Danielle, I don't have any time. Tell everybody in my yoga class about time, and you do have all the time in the world for the things you have to prioritize, and taking the time to say and to have that moment of nourishment, and like I said, take the time to cook the fresh meal, and then eat it, and doing it differently, not just, but like
You
eating.
mean don't inhale it like I'm a vacuum?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
don't inhale it like gonna take, eat off your plate next to you, like we used to have freaking brothers do all the time, like, um, but breathing in between and letting it sit, letting your body feel it, and, feel the energy of it and the fulfillment of it and the nourishment of it and love it. And those are a lot of things that I've been doing to tell my bestie that I love her and that I want to repair the relationship, that I so abused her for so many years.
Oh, I
Like,
need to talk to myself
yeah,
like that.
yeah, that's exactly what you got to start doing,
Me too.
Be think about if it was your friend on the outside and you talked mean to her, and then all of a sudden you were really nice and sweet to her. Do you think immediately she would just be super nice? She would be like, you were a bitch the last 3 days.
Yeah.
When you talk to your body, you have to gain back a relationship like that, and think of, she's telling you, you've been a bitch to me the last 25 years, however long you took over from control. I'm 41 now, so listen, if I've had control over that since I was like 4 or 5, like we're talking 27, what, 37 years. Yeah, like 30, something like that. So like, I've got to gain back her trust. I've got to gain back her love. I
That
have to
sounds
little talk nice to her. I have to tell her I'm sorry. You know, like, are you doing your mirror work? Because you got to look in the mirror.
Actually,
You
when you
are.
said that the other
Yeah.
day, I was like, wow, I just started this too. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
there's times I'll go to the mirror real quick and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I look good. Or I'll look at my husband and I'll be like, oh my God, look at my back. Or oh my God, look at my butt. My butt's growing or this or something, right? And I get really excited. But I wasn't doing exactly that all the time. It would just be when I felt good. But now, after you said that, yeah, I'm like, I look at myself, I'm like, you look good though. Why are you
Yeah.
so, you're good. You're doing good. Like, you're strong as shit.
Yeah.
You're better than you ever were. Your body, my body's forming in a different way than it ever was. Like, I'm not as top heavy anymore, thank God. But, and it's just, yeah, so I'm working on my mirror work.
And
Now I
when
have to work on talking to myself.
and when you do, you also have to offer her that forgiveness and that appreciation and thank her because she was there for you through the
Everything.
abuse, through all the drinking, through all that late night eating. She put up with you.
Oh,
She,
I'm still healthy,
right,
which is very surprising.
yeah,
So, yes, you're right.
gotta offer her that acknowledgement and say thank you for all that I put you through. I know I abused you. And
You're going to make me
we, yeah,
cry.
yeah. And you got to offer her those tears. Those tears are the old version of you coming up and out, when you do talk to her that way. And you have to say, like, you were there for me. You did put up with that. And I took you for granted and I kept abusing you. But I want to be besties and I want to have a loving relationship with you and I don't want to abuse you anymore. So I'm going to give you space to talk and I'm going to allow you to tell me what we want to do for workout, what we want to do for eating. And remember that consuming is not just about the food too. Consuming is about what do we watch, what do we
Mm,
read, who do we talk to, who do we
that's a big
listen
one.
to, okay? Because that's coming in, you're consuming it in.
Yeah.
So that's going into your body. She's responds to that too. If you keep allowing, like maybe you have somebody, we know friendships sometimes have to separate because we're changing and maybe they're not and they just constantly have negative talk, right? You don't want to keep hearing that.
No.
That's not where you're trying to get to. So you can't keep hearing those old things. You can't even though they're talking about themselves, it's you still listening
It's
and
the energy.
and our cells, it's the cells of our body respond. They respond to vibration. And so you're consuming that in. It's resonating with the cells that are still healing from your personal past trauma. And so they're like, oh, we remember this. This is familiar. So we take it in
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
more. We are reprogramming the cells as we keep doing the work, the mirror work, the talking nice to ourselves, the giving it the food that it wants, and listening for what it's telling us, right? I also don't force workouts if she's like, we can't, we don't have the energy, or we're really sore, we really feel like walking outside instead of going and doing a power flow, and so I'll do that instead.
Mm.
you know I also listen to her because my little girl, the biggest thing that lights her up is tap dancing, and I've been tap dancing since I was 5 years old,
Wow.
and I love to tap dance. And so you got to keep doing that one thing. If it's only one thing that lights up your little girl while you're healing, because letting the little girl have its pure joy is also the part of the healing process. And so she is the happiest when those tap shoes are on her feet and she could do her thing.
Mm.
It's the most joy. There's like it's like explaining a euphoric experience because that's the truest alignment that you could be in when you're allowing your inner child to have its pure joy moment. And that's why when we have kids, that we do, having kids is part of the process of healing our inner child. We're given children to do that. We're given children lessons, but we're given children to partake in, play with them, put them in these activities, do these activities with them to keep our inner child going, to keep it strong, to keep ourselves alive, to keep ourselves energetic.
That's the truth.
Is for it, you know? So you're doing an amazing job. And you got to tell yourself that you're doing an amazing job.
I am. I really am.
Foremost, let everybody else tell you around you, but you have to go to you first. You have to first be able to only feel the pure feeling of what that feels like when you hear that statement from you first. Yeah. When the other people on the outside tell it to you, what it does is it amplifies it. Instead of you always looking for that outside validation, which can be taken away at any moment.
Yeah, it can.
Okay. So that's why it's so important to do this and to be your bestie and to tell yourself those things first and let it fill up. That is why, like now I cry so much in so many tears of joy and filling. I always say, I feel so fulfilled. I feel so fulfilled because I am fulfilled, because the vibration from the outside of the things that people say or do or show me and support is just amplifying what I filled up inside. Mm-hmm. So I'm literally speechless because I don't have any other words to say except I just feel my heart. It's like when we saw the Grinch in the movie and you
his
Grinch's
heart, yeah, it came popping out of his chest.
Exactly what I feel when the vibration matches, because I fill myself up and then it matches from the outside coming in, and I just get so overwhelmed in the good way of I love everybody, like, because I love me, because that matches that what I feel inside, and it just feels so good to now have that match. It's not about because I need somebody from the outside to hear it, because I've taught myself how to, it only matters from here. Yeah. Right. But when it has that reflection and it comes back, it's like, and it fills me up, and I'm just like, oh my God, that feels so good. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I want to feel that.
With that, thank you so much.
Thank
for being
you.
Open and sharing your story and
rough.
you. And I love you. I gotta give you a question. Okay. So, journal questions. Let's go with, have you ever put yourself through an extreme time frame of body abuse? Like hearing Marissa's story and what she did when she was spending those years of her life drinking. Have you ever put yourself through an extreme amount of time, whether it was just 1 year or it was multiple years in a row, of abusing your body with something? Whether it was the way you spoke, whether it was what you ate, what you drank, if you used outside substances, or whatever it was. Have you ever done that? Second question. What are you going to do in life to change how you feel about your body and how you talk to your body? Thank you for your love, Chechi. What are you going to do in life? What steps are you going to take? What activities are you going to do to change your relationship with your body? And your third journal question is going to be, you know what? This is not going to be a question. This is going to be homework. Well, the journal questions are homework, but it's an activity. Homework. Your activity is to do the mirror work, everybody. To look yourself in the mirror and fully accept what you see right now. Because Thank you, champ. He's mad. Somebody opened up that outside door. Do your mirror work and be honest with yourself. If, like you heard Crystal say on Tuesday night, she looked at herself and I got it out of her that she actually called herself ugly. So if you're looking in the mirror and you actually want to tell yourself that you're ugly, that's okay, because you have to be real with yourself first before you can move on to do the work. So you must admit the truth to yourself. Stop bullshitting you. It doesn't help you get anywhere, okay? Those are your 3 assignments. Thank you all for joining. Tomorrow is the last Body Shaming Live, and it's going to be completely different. And I'm not going to tease it, but all different aspects of body shaming. And you're going to want to be there for this one too. So I promise you. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Everybody,
This was awesome.
good night. Enjoy your Thursday.